Ro, inflation takes a while to conjure up. I mean, it's taken years and years and years since Volcker. We saw Japan. It doesn't happen immediately. So I'm not convinced that as far as monetary, that this is all Joe Biden's fault. But not everyone can anticipate something like a COVID and supply chain and labor issues. Where do you think it started, Ro?
Well, I think there are two things. I mean, you're right to point out that the trillions of dollars of spending started actually under Donald Trump, and we were needed to respond to COVID. But the main thing is the production supply. Look, let's look at semiconductors. Semiconductors were too dependent on them from South Korea and Taiwan. We had to import them. The shipping isn't working. And so the question is, why aren't we talking about increasing production in this country? And we can do that. The CHIPS Act, bipartisan, pass that, get semiconductor manufacturing, figure out how can we increase production and supply manufacturing in this country to deal with some of the inflation issues.
But, Kevin, I mean, even Build Back Better, that's not even passed. The infrastructure deal, we haven't even started spending any of that yet. I will grant you that some of the energy-related re-regulation in certain areas that the Biden administration has instituted, that all trickles down. That doesn't help. But it's tough to point to cause and effect for why we're here, other than a lot of COVID effects, which maybe you can't blame the Biden administration for. Maybe some. We don't we obviously haven't handled it like he said he would. But what do you attribute it to?
I agree that the reason we have inflation right now is we did something that was unprecedented over the last 24 months, of which 12 of those months were under the Trump administration. We have never printed this much money before in this country ever. It's unprecedented. And the fact that Build Back Better is dead is actually a gift for Joe Biden. That's so inflationary, that would be suicide in terms of the midterms. But it's gone, and we don't have to worry about it. But if I were Biden today, and everybody can be an armchair quarterback, but he's in trouble right now for two main reasons: energy costs and food escalation, because you deal with those every day, and you've been talking about it all morning. So what do you do about it? You know that the chief executive controls the agenda. That's the job. And what is he spending his time doing? Voting rights. I agree it's important, but right now, who cares? What you really should be focusing on is bringing down food costs and energy costs. Now, you can blame him for policy mistakes on energy, and I do believe that canceling Keystone and job-owning federal land leases away and explaining that we're going to go green was way too early. Other countries have tried that, are in real trouble. So what do you do about it? You softly job-own back. Most of the energy costs are in futures contracts. If all of a sudden the president's more accommodative on solving this energy problem, prices will drop. You do not want to see $100 a barrel oil. And the reason I'm invested recently in Chevron and Schlumberger, but when I heard Biden's first speech, I got out of those stocks. I'm back in them now because energy prices are only going up because of his policy. So you've got to start talking that down. But on food, the problem is logistics. Everybody is buying protein and seeing it up 20, 30%. And that really hurts. So you could argue that you're on your way to the polling booth in November, you stop at the gas station, you're paying $6 a gallon. You know what you're going to do when you're pulling the lever on that one. It's going to be brutal. But food is about logistics. What do we have in this country that provides the best logistics? The National Guard. They have the trucks we don't have. So get to work. Tell the American people, I'm going to solve this for you right now. I'm going to solve energy for you by job-owning down those prices, by explaining the policy is going to be more accommodative. Prices will drop. And on food, you get to the ports, because right now here in South Florida, right here in Miami Beach, I can't buy ham. There is no ham because there's no truck driver to ship it from the slaughterhouse to the grocery store. I've never seen anything like this before. We've got to get the National Guard. Call it what it is. It's an emergency. Best logistics are those generals that know how to drive those trucks from LA to the distribution centers, and you focus on food and energy. That's it right now. That's all you can control. And you try to save the midterm elections. Right now, and you talked about it earlier, Joe Biden is less popular than Trump. That's really hard to do. And his party must be really sweating bullets for November. And he's got to fix food and energy el pronto.